open it up for questions. But so first, let me start with giving an update on what's going on our campus right now. I'm sure everybody's interested in COVID and the testing and some numbers. As of Monday, July the 6th, we had over 300 student athletes that were back on campus representing all of our 19 schools in some way, shape, or form. Last met with each of you, I shared with you what I called our confidence plan for our student athletes to return back on June the 8th, starting with the football and our fall sports. That plan included our testing protocols, our facility cleaning, how we're going to staff those facilities, etc. What I can tell you is I truly believe that plan has worked very, very well. I'm extremely proud of our medical staff, our student athletes, our support staff that includes our athletic trainers, our strength conditioning coaches, and each of our head coaches for really setting the tone. And again, for our student athletes for doing an incredible job making an adjustment as they return to campus. And to give you a little feel to date, we've had less than 10 student athletes and 2 staff members who have tested positive for COVID, with all but one of those that were infected having returned to their workouts and work at this time. So again, less than 10 student athletes, 2 staff members, but only 1 active case right now. So meaning that all those that did positive have returned either to their voluntary workouts or to their work environment. And based on the contact tracing from those positive tests, we currently have about 20 student athletes who are still in some phase 15-day quarantine period, but each of those student athletes has tested negative. So as we look forward to our fall sports, football, volleyball, soccer, and cross country, officially beginning practice during the first week, our testing protocols will be enhanced, and that will include at that point in time some rapid response testing on a weekly basis for all participating student athletes in those fall sports. And you may have seen about an hour or so ago that the NCAA released kind of their 3rd version of their medical guidelines and recommendations that included testing prior to at least 72 hours prior to the competition, an institution, and as a conference to fall in line with those plans. And so that's the COVID kind of update. And I'll get through a few of these updates and then open it up for questions. So the outlook on football to date. I think you're all aware that on Monday, the SEC ADs Birmingham to discuss a number of issues with an obvious focus on the upcoming football season. And what I can tell you, and I think probably what you've heard this week, is that we're going to continue to be patient as a conference before making any decisions. There's several options that are on the table right now. The first option still being the 12-game schedule that for us starts on November 5th versus Nevada, followed by a road game on September 12th at Notre Dame. We can't move on to the second option until we eliminate the first option. And that first option is still very much on the table, as are other options. The impact of the Pac-12, the Big Ten decisions have been minimal. Really only 2 games, Colorado at Texas A&M and Alabama and USC down in Dallas. So those decisions by those other Power 5 conferences, those are the only 2 games we lost. And so as we sit here today, what I believe from my conversations with Commissioner Sankey, that the SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC are on the same page as far as our collective desire to be patient before making any decisions. When you look at some of the in-state rivalries that exist, especially between the SEC and the ACC, it seems to make sense that Clemson should play South Carolina, and Georgia should play Georgia Tech, and Florida should play Florida State. And so just eliminating those games because you want to play a conference-only schedule, at least at this point, does not make a great deal of sense. Football games at Razorback Stadium, our event operations and external team, in consultation with the Arkansas Department of Health, are finalizing a plan for football games at Razorback Stadium, as well as soccer and volleyball games this fall. We're working toward a goal to be able to accommodate each of the 32,700 season ticket holders who make a choice to attend the game, to continue with their season tickets, along with our students. Attending games this year is going to involve several changes. The first being mobile ticketing. There will most likely be some staggered entry times for fans, assigned entry gates. They'll that you will see defined directional movement of patrons on concourses and aisles, meaning when you're on the concourse, you'll go down one way and come back the other, and there'll be very little overlapping of traffic. And then we're working with lead concession partner to develop a pre-packaged concession item, as well as potentially pre-ordered and prepaid concession items. The field's going to look different. The team box is now going to go from the 15-yard line to the 15-yard line. There'll be limited non-essential personnel on the sidelines, limited members of the media on the sidelines. There'll be no on-field presentations or recognitions, and still yet to be determined if we'll have any performances by band or cheerleaders on the field. So some of the things that really make football games and college football special, the pageantry that we're all used to, probably not going to exist in a college football venue this year. Financially, football is incredibly important to us at the University of Arkansas, and I think my fellow SEC members would say the same thing. For us, it generates about $70 million of our approximately $124 million budget. Not to mention the economic impact that Razorback football has across Northwest Arkansas and across our state. So obviously, if we're not able to play football, challenging financial decisions as a director of athletics that I'm going to have to make. What I will tell you, that the safety, the health, and well-being of our student athletes will always...
Well, hello. It's the Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio, and we're not going to waste any time because the Hog Guy segment is so hot, and when you can get one of the major prospects in a 2022 class that Coach Sam Pittman and those guys are trying to put together in a few years, you got to get him. I mean, he's the biggest thing in Leesburg, Georgia. We're going to bring on 2022 offensive lineman and defense lineman. Yeah, he's a versatile football player. Quayshawn Sapp. Q, welcome to the Hill. Let's get off into it, my main man. Heading into your junior year, Q. Recruiting is starting to pick up. Arkansas came in several weeks ago and extended an offer. Talk about that offer from Arkansas and your relationship with, in particular, Coach Scott Fountain and Sam Pittman, and how that's going to help Arkansas going forward.
Well, my relationship with Coach Fountain, I mean, Arkansas meant a lot because, I mean, me and Coach Fountain had a good relationship when he was at Georgia. So, I mean, that kind of meant a lot. He was recruiting me very hard when he was at Georgia, even though I was a freshman. I didn't have a lot of fans, but he wanted me because I was a big kid and I was very athletic. So my relationship with Coach Fountain is very unique. It's a good bond to build around. He's a good guy to talk to on the phone. He loves talking about all the schools he coached and all that stuff. So, I mean, he's a good guy. He's a great person to talk to, great person to be around. So
Big
just
Sam,
ready to visit campus.
Big Sam, from your experiences, having had a chance, I don't know how much you've had a chance to talk to Coach Sam Pittman, but from what you know of Coach Pittman, what is it about Sam as the head coach now here at Arkansas, coming from being the offensive line coach at Georgia, that just, that resonates with so many prospects when you talk about Coach Pittman?
I mean, Coach Pittman in general, he's the type of guy, type of coach that cares for his players and his offensive linemen, etc. Players in general. I mean, he loves his players. He puts them in the NFL and all that stuff. I mean, he takes care of them. He's like as I can say, he's like a father to them. So he takes care of his guys. So.
Q, who are some other schools right now in the early process heading into your junior season that are really showing you what we call in social media a lot of love?
Schools that been showing me a lot of love. Tennessee is one of them. Tennessee is showing me a lot of love. Tennessee loves me. I mean, being around the coaches, I've been to the campus a couple times. I mean, the fan base is great. The campus is great. I mean, it's just a good place to be at. I mean, Arkansas is too. I mean, Arkansas is a good place to be around. I mean, it's an SEC school. They're one of the top schools in the SEC. I mean, it's just a great environment to be around during the SEC and ACC. I mean, it's great. Another school that's showing me a lot of interest and love is Georgia Tech. I mean, ACC is going to always be in there. So, I mean, they're great schools. I mean, there's a lot of great schools out here. But, I mean, those are a couple that's showing me a lot of love right now.
I talked to Mama Q. Talk about Miss Tanya and how important she's going to be, and how important it is to have a mom that's so involved with what you do both on the field and off the field, and she's going to help make this big decision. Talk about Mama for a little bit, because I'm a mama's boy. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a mama's boy, Coach. I'm a mama's boy. I always be a mama's boy. I mean, I grew up in a household with three brothers. I mean, our father was barely in our lives. I mean, she's been that father figure for years of all my brothers and siblings. I mean, she's a real tough lady. She stays on us. I mean, she teaches me how to keep my head on straight. If I'm doing anything that's stupid or I'm thinking about doing anything stupid, she knows. It's like an instinct she has. It's the mom.
I can tell that. Can you talk about what you felt good about following your sophomore season when you sat down with your offensive line coach and your defensive line coach? What is it that you felt good about, and then heading into your junior year, what have you been working on here in the offseason that you saw on film that you had to get better at?
The main thing I've been working on constantly is keeping my heels on the ground when I'm pass protection. Pass protection. I mean, I like to lean in a little bit because that's that defensive line mentality. You stay on your toes a lot when you're defensive line. You never stay on your heels. You just bull rush and do your moves. So I'm transitioning a little bit, keeping my heels on the ground. But I'm doing good right now. We had a little good pass protection today at practice. I'm working on it. So, I mean, it's very good. I mean, I'm going into the season very, very level-headed.
Do you have it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now I'm just working on being a good athlete, a good teammate, pretty much.
Q, do you have any preference? Would you like to play offense or defense once you pick your Power 5 school of choice, or is it just one of those? Hey, you told me, you're just a football player, and wherever need be, that's where you get it.
Wherever the coaches need me, I'll be there. I mean, it'll be a hard time adjusting, but I'm gonna end up adjusting regardless. So. Either way, I mean, the coach is going to need me wherever they need me, and I'm going to go to that position.
Now, when you watch the NFL or college, who are some of those guys you like to pay attention to on either the defensive or offensive lines, Q?
My favorite offensive lineman right now is the guy that came from my hometown, Trent Thomas.
I see. Oh, who coached him? Oh, I'm not trying to tamper at all, my man. I'm not tampering at all. But when I show up there at Lee County High School in Leesburg, Georgia, Big Q, and I got popcorn and soda pop. Ball kicked off. Tell me, what type of football player am I going to see in Big Q for 4 quarters?
This year, Coach, you're going to see a dog this year, Coach. I mean, this is my season. I mean, I got to grind to be the person that my family is behind me and watching. So, I mean, this is a season where I got to eat. I mean, I can't take no grudges. I got to go in head first this season. So, I mean, my recruitment was very slow because we wasn't able to have a spring or a fall or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, this year is the year of me grinding and becoming one of the best offensive linemen in the nation.
Talking with Quayshawn Sapp of Leesburg, Georgia. He goes to Lee County High School. He's the 2022 major prospect for Coach Sam Pittman, Brad Davis, Scott Fountain. Arkansas, Big Q, is starting to make a big push, with Coach Fountain and Coach Pittman making their way to Arkansas as far as recruiting the state of Georgia. You have quite the familiarity with a young man we had on our show last week, Stantavius Smith, as you both were at the same high school there at Doherty. Talk about, just the impact with Arkansas trying to put the brand down there. And you're so familiar with a lot of those 22 guys. Because I see, to me it seems like Arkansas in that 22 class, Arkansas is starting to really build a brand. How do you look at that, and how will that help if so?
I mean, in my opinion, Coach, I mean, us Georgia boys, I mean, we're the best. We're the best out there. I mean, I don't discriminate against other people. I mean, schools and all that stuff. But as my opinion, myself, I think that down South Georgia has the best players in the nation out of anything. I mean, you got my guy Stantavius Smith, class of 23, blowing up with 9 offers, 10 offers. You got my dog Tyree West, the #1 defensive end in the nation. You got Christian Miller, the #2 defensive tackle in the nation. You got Mikael Williams. You got J.Q. Hardaway. You got all these guys from Georgia that's blowing up and becoming successful. And I'm trying to be in that environment of being successful with my guys. I mean, they're my boys. I mean, I grew up with them, so my dogs, and we all want to see each other be successful. We plan on becoming one of the top, all of us being the top 5 stars or #1 players in the nation. I mean, we all level-headed. We got that mentality that we're going to eat and we're going to be successful for our family. So, I mean, the class of 22 is the best class, in my opinion. So.
Now, let's have a little fun. Want everybody to know we're talking with Quayshawn Sapp. He's a 2022 offensive line prospect for the University of Arkansas. Major prospect there out of Leesburg, Georgia, Lee County High School. Now we're riding around Lee. Me and you, my man. First 5 songs on the playlist, Q. Give them to me.
First 5 songs on the playlist will probably be, I say, Believer. I can't remember who it's by, but the song's called Believer. I mean, I don't discriminate against no music. I love music. I love rock music. It'll probably be a little country music, Tennessee whiskey, a little country music,
Okay.
Little Baby, We Paid. I like that song a lot. Probably be some Rod Wave, Dark Clouds. That's my favorite song from Rod Wave, Dark Clouds, and a little Glock 9 and Glock 9, Crayola and FS Rudy Pergot.
Now, I'm asking a lot of my guests that come on here, pre-game meal, my man, Thursday night. What does Q have to eat before he hits the field on Friday?
Pre-game meal for me always has to be some Chick-fil-A, Coach. I gotta have the spicy chicken sandwich, Coach. I gotta have the spicy chicken sandwich before the game, Coach.
Hey, somebody told me across the street at the University of Arkansas, Chick-fil-A is like a stone's throw from the campus. But I mean, like I said, man, I'm not trying to tamper at all. So don't accuse me of that. I cannot offer scholarships, but just make a note of that. They are just a stone's throw away. You even see it when you go down Razorback Road, Q.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, Q, I want to thank you for taking time out, and I'm gonna make a statement, if you would, big fella. Finish it for me. When football is done with, for Quayshawn Sapp of Leesburg, Georgia, Lee County High School, he's played his Power 5 football. Went on and realized that dream of playing in the NFL. We've come to a point where he's got to hang up the helmet, the ball airs out the ball, cleats and pants are put in the locker room. What's life going to be like after football for Quayshawn Sapp of Leesburg, Georgia?
For me, I mean, I'm a lovable guy. I mean, I'm a family guy. I'm a mama's boy. So, I mean, it's all about family. All about family. You have to spend as much time with your family because the tomorrow is never promised. Right. I mean, you gotta always keep God in your head. I mean, in your heart, you always gotta pray. I mean, for me, it's God, family, football. I mean, football always comes last because it's not always gonna be there. You have to, like you said, you gotta hang the helmet up sometimes, hang up your cleats. So I mean, for me, it's just spending time with my family because, like I said, tomorrow's never promised.
Now, Q, this will definitely not be our last conversation. Our line is your line, and our show is your show. Tell your mama. Thanks for giving me the thumbs up so I can get a piece of the journey. All right?
No problem, Coach.
Hey, thanks for taking time out. And I tell you what, hey, let's have some Quayshawn Sapp updates when we get into the football season, and hopefully the state of Georgia will let you guys play on.
Yes, sir.
All right, my man. Have a blessed one.
All right, Coach.
That was 2022 offensive line prospect, offensive tackle. This guy's a major priority for Sam Pittman, Brad Davis, and Scott Fountain, Demetrius. So I'm talking about major. What did you see? Is it just another broken record that we continue to say?
You took the words right out of my mouth. You know, another guy that's 6'5", 6'9", 310 pounds. Again,
6'6", 311, I think that's his size right now.
Another example of, Sam Pittman describing, hey, I'm either going to be big, I'm either going to have big bodies or I'm going to have fast bodies. And I think, again, he's doing part one of that. And I think if you can get those big bodies up front, the speed's going to come because guys love to play behind the offensive line that they know guys can get down because guys in those skill positions need the ball in their hands, and you have to have time for the quarterback to give it to them. So, again, I think Sam Pittman is going to have an easy job here in about 2 years. And, again, I think he said something that we've been saying on the show, this 22 class, and I'm not just talking about the guys that Arkansas is only recruiting. I'm talking about that class in general as a whole. It's something special about that 22 class of football players. I'm telling you, they're built different. Their mindset is a little different. I think the opportunities that they're getting with players having the right to their likeness, I just think the opportunities and everything that's set up, I think 22 is just going to be a different I can't even really have a word to really describe. It's going to be the next level of football as far as the generation. They're going to change the trajectory.
The upper room of college football.
Yes, it's definitely going to change, and I think this 22 class for football is going to be very, very, very special.
I mean, that's what Sam said. He wanted to put the brand out there. I mean, when you look at the landscape and the young men that we've been able to bring on our show here on OTH weekly, you get the sense that the brand is definitely out there. Arkansas is going to be a name that's going to resonate with these young men, and particularly the 22 classes on. I'm telling you, I really feel like if this program can get 5, and if they somehow get 6 wins, you're going to start to see the nation's elite really focus on having Fayetteville be a part of their college experience and playing for the University of Arkansas under Sam Pittman. I really think no less than, I'm going to say it, Demetrius, I'm telling people, no less than 10 or more, or 11 or so All-Americans I anticipate to come to Fayetteville. Based on conversations we've had off the phone and through the air, I just think the brand in that 22 class, 23 and below, is really starting to saturate with these kids. And you'll hear Arkansas a lot on the signing days to come. But we're going to step away because we got an update, and we're going to bring this guy on. He's the big fella out of East Point, Georgia, Tri-Cities High School, Cam Ball. He's going to give us an update as to his recruiting, the big 2021 defensive tackle. He's up next. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. Back in a sec.
Amanda, hey, I was wondering your reaction to that, and then the second part of that is the Georgia governor, I can't name, but he's basically repealing all the local mandates in his state about masks. Just wondering what your feelings are about those decisions.
Well, I fully support the governor. I fully support my good friend Doug McMillan and the staff at Walmart for the decision that they made. I fully support the Board of Trustees for our system and the decision that they made. It's a shame, in my opinion, that wearing a mask has to become a political decision. To me, it's just the right thing to do. What we've heard from medical personnel, and me and my family, we are active mask wearers, as are all of our staff members that have come to work, and I think it's the right thing to do, not only for yourself, but for everyone you come in contact with.
And then the second question, you sound optimistic about being able to compete in the various sports this fall. What's your level of optimism?
I'd say it's mediocre, Bob, to be honest and very transparent. Mediocre. It's not as high as it was a month ago. I mean, obviously what has trended across our country with this virus over the past 4 to 6 weeks is not at all what we had expected, at least not what I had expected. I thought as we sat in May and we were going to bring our student athletes back on June the 8th that I would have said back then we had a much better opportunity for this to happen. But, things can change quickly. They change quickly in the wrong direction for us. And I think if everybody will do their part as far as wearing the mask and social distancing, that we still have a great chance to have fall sports this year, because this is a virus that there's been peaks and valleys of this thing since it started. And we've learned a great deal. I think as we look back at March, when this all started, we made a quick and hasty decision, in my opinion, as a nation to cancel at least spring sports. I think as we look back now, there's probably was a way for us to get in and modify baseball and softball and tennis and golf seasons with the social distancing that naturally exists in some of those sports. And so I think this is something we just got to be patient with, Bob.
Okay, thanks, Hunter.
Nate?
There we go. Hunter, just as far as the sports you were talking about giving up, or not, or just about the changes you foresee in the future, if football isn't played, just anything.
I like chicken and waffles. What's a good place I can get some chicken and waffles? I know. KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Get on down there and see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that loving. Like they say on their building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. They even got chicken wings, and they got these things called loaded fries. I think you might want to get on down there. Meet me down there or see me down there. KDK's Chicken at 989 Razorback Road. Welcome back to our Monday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio here on KDSJ 479. We come to you Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. And real quick, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors that make this possible. With that being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, they're located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one that we like to talk about, KDK's Chicken. They're located at 989 South Razorback Road. Go down and check them out. Go see Keith and Kathy. Get some love. They say it's not your mama's. We say it's the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. Now on to our featured guest today. He's a guy that Coach Barry Odom, Derek LeBlanc, and that entire defense staff, head coach Sam Pittman, were really focused on the day that Coach Pittman took the head coaching job. He was one of the first guys that they reached out to, and he's at the barber shop today, and he's getting a very clean haircut. And if the haircut is as clean as this man's game, Arkansas will be happy to have him. We're going to bring him on from East Point, Georgia, Tri-City High School. My man, Cam Ball, CB. Welcome to OTH again.
What's going on? Glad to be back.
So, Cam, let's get off into it. You know, recruiting just since we've had you on last has gotten really, really intense. Schools just seem to come in every week with an offer and showing you a lot of love. How has the process gone to this point, and where are you at with, the schools of your choice?
Basically, a while back, I made a top 10, but the top 10, it doesn't really matter anymore because I basically did that because I got tired of coaches. Well, not tired, but there's a whole lot of going on when the corona when the first happened. So I had coaches jumping at me from left and right, and I kind of nailed my decisions down to, talk to less coaches. But now I reopened back my recruitment, and my recruitment is 100% open. Still talking to coaches each and every day, and I don't plan on making a decision anytime soon. So I would say that since this whole outbreak has pushed my recruitment like that because I want to wait out and see what's going to happen there.
Cam, we talk a lot, and you have a great relationship, or so it seems, with the University of Arkansas. How are those conversations going? And I know when we spoke a few days ago, you had a conversation with the entire staff. Talk about those conversations, and where are you at with, as far as Arkansas is concerned with your recruiting process?
Arkansas is up there because, like I said before in the last interview, it means a lot to me that Coach Sean Pittman, he recruited me at the University of Georgia, and he brought me along with him. And Coach Smith, I've been knowing him for a while. He was a high school coach at Cedar Grove. He offered me at Georgia State, and now he's brought me along with him to Arkansas. So I have a pretty good relationship with the whole Arkansas staff, everything about Arkansas. So I would say Arkansas is up there. I like Arkansas a lot. I like the coaching staff. I like the recruits they got coming in. I'm in a group chat with all of them. All of them, they're pretty cool guys.
Which leads me into my next question. I was going to ask you about that group chat. When you have in a situation where you have so many young men wanting you to come to their particular universities, and I'm feeling with the way recruiting's going, a lot of group chats you're in. Talk about that. Does that play a factor, Cam, in your recruitment going forward, or you just have a lot of fun with it?
I would say kind of both because I've never been in a group chat with recruits or people that's about to commit or people that's already committed. Because, man, it's a lot of stuff that gets talked about in that group chat, and it's not just about football. It's about, checking to see if players are okay or what it's like in the recruitment. Even if you commit or decommit, you're welcome to stay in the group chat. So there's just a whole lot of love coming from those players.
Now, I know it's going to be a tough decision, Cam, but is it a situation you want to take your visits? Because we spoke about a little over a month ago, and you were hoping to have your decision done in the early part. But, talk about how much, you're going to lean on your family to help you get through this. It's uncharted waters. We've never been in this, and unfortunately it's your senior year. But talk about how much importance that your family's going to have in this final decision.
My family's going to play not too much of a big part, but they're going to play a part in it because I was told by my family members, especially my dad, that my recruitment is 100% my decision. So they're just going to help me and guide me and tell me what's right from wrong a little bit. So basically, it's in my hands. The ball's on my side of the foot. So I'll make a decision on my own. So I want to say my family plays a big factor into it.
Well, now I've asked everybody this, and I want to thank you for taking time out. I know you got a busy schedule, and you're out, like I said, at the barbershop or at the tattoo place getting something put on. But, Cam, what's the pregame meal, buddy? What is it that you like to eat Thursday night before you take the field and create a lot of havoc out there?
So I would say Thursday night, probably something light but not too heavy. So probably something like pasta-wise, like chicken Alfredo or just a regular Alfredo.
I like that, Cam. Well, my man, hey, thanks for taking part out. Just get a little quick update as to where you are with your recruitment. I know it picks up each and every week, but I know this won't be the last time you and I talk, correct?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, hey, CB, you have a blessed day, man. And hey, when you make that decision, can we be a part of that decision when it comes?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm talking about, my man. Hey, you have a blessed one, and hey, get a nice tattoo. Send me a photo of it when you get it done, bet.
I got you.
All right, CB, thanks for taking time out today, my man.
All right.
Well, that was Cam Ball of Tri-Cities High School in East Point, Georgia. We ain't even got to say nothing. I mean, this kid here just blows up like B12, Demetrius. Since we had him on back on March 30th, I believe. Woo! his recruiting is just absolutely skyrocketing. He's one of the hottest prospects in the state of Georgia at the moment.
You know, I could really see why after watching this film. You know, almost plays defensive end like a linebacker, very violent. And you want that out of your defensive end and out of your linebacker, somebody that you know will hold that edge down. I think he's going to come in and be a great college player wherever he goes. I think when you just look at the tenacity, he's playing on both sides of the ball, just a football player.
And, you know, you just continue on. I really think this kid may end up at Arkansas when all is said and done. But at the same time, I mean, he's going to have a lot of options. It's not going to be one that's going to be clear-cut. I think this is going to come down to signing day. He will visit. I anticipate some of the elite some of the elite programs across the country because he's just that good. He's up to 299, 300 pounds. I believe when I spoke with him a couple of days ago, Cam's running a 4.8, a 4.89 to be exact. So when you're packing that much weight on a 6'4.5" frame, woo, you are going to be one of the more elite recruits that most defense, because it's, you know, Demetrius, you and I know it's hard to find defensive linemen. That's just the hardest position to find, those offensive and defensive linemen in football. And it's a position that you can't get it wrong. I mean, you have to find difference makers, especially in the SEC.
Yeah, it's definitely hit or miss, especially watching film sometimes, because you can see guys really dominate in their classification, whether it be 4A, 3A, but then they come to the SEC level, and it's just, again, a different type of physicality, a different type of mentality, a different type of work. So it's definitely something that you have to add a little bit of analyzation in, and when you're recruiting the offensive lineman, you definitely have to make sure they fit the mold of what you want out of a football player.
I mean, and that's just the way, that's the way it's going to be. Under Coach Pittman, I don't know. I don't even know what you call it. I don't even know what you call it. The kids we've had on, Demetrius, I don't even know what you call it.
I think they're a different breed. I just think, again, it's not the typical athlete that Arkansas is used to recruiting, especially at a high rate. Arkansas maybe will get, out of 3 years, a span of 10 kids to the caliber of the kids that you're now seeing come on campus, week in and week out. When they did have the chance to come on campus. And again, I have to really credit Chad Morris with starting that trend. I know a lot of guys don't want to talk about the good things that he did do at Arkansas, but again, I think he definitely gave Pittman some tools to build upon, and now he can really go do what he needs to do.
He did do that 19 class or 18 class. You can't say he didn't recruit. It's a 19 class that he, with Burks, Knox, those guys, that receiving core and his defensive line and the secondary, you have to say he hit on, and he hit on in a big way. But there were still some parts that he just didn't seem to get.
And I think when you look at the end of this year, you're going to see how much, or how many, I should say, of Chad's kids really are going to be kind of the backbone of this team.
Right, good point.
When you look at guys like Joe Fouché, that was a guy that Bielema's staff was trying to recruit for years and never wanted to even look at Arkansas. But then Chad Morris's staff comes in and brings him on campus because I think he's going to be a leader on the defense. You look at guys like, Buster was already here. Who's another big recruit that Chad got on? I really want to speak on the defensive side because everybody knows, Burks, the receivers. They know but I look at you.
Matea Soli.
Yes.
Matea Soli.
Yes.
Matea. I just say Soli. That's what I'm going to call him, Soli. All right? I'm not even going to give him a first name. I'm going to say Soli. That's what he's going to be. This young man, watch number 11 this year. I'm telling you, with both hands, man, and he's still another Georgia kid that got away, came to Arkansas, and he played a lot of football. I think that's the one thing, Demetrius, that's going to help Arkansas going forward is that their younger talent has been forced, kind of, so to speak, due to injuries or however it happened. They had to be thrown out and grow up a lot sooner than most programs would like their freshmen and redshirt freshmen to have to do.
Yeah, I think these guys, they have all the talent in the world. I just think they have to learn the culture of winning, learning how to be a champion, learning how to fight back in those games, because a lot of those younger guys, they're still, I don't want to say it like this, but they're still losers. They haven't really won any significant games under their belt. So I think, again, the hardest part or I think what the real issue is going to be is teaching these guys how to win and play start to finish, because I feel like, Chad, there was games that these guys had the ability to win, but they didn't know how to play from start to finish and play all 4 quarters to really get the W in the column. So I think if these guys can just change the mentality and change the culture, and that was something that Sam Pittman alluded to. He was like, man, we have to get these guys confident.
Yes.
You know, that was the one thing he kept saying. He wasn't talking about lifting weights. He wasn't talking about getting stronger, faster, bigger. Absolutely. He strictly was just talking about building confidence in these guys and getting them to understand how to play in the SEC.
And when you look at it, I mean, that's the confidence that these kids are starting to exude with the weight gains most of these guys are making on the offensive line, in particular Dalton Wagner, Cunningham comes to mind. Ricky Stromborg also comes to mind with the weight gains. You talk about Traylon Burks. I really feel like some of the defensive players have put on weight gains. And the way they train is an SEC style of training. A lot of reactional things that they do in their workouts, I think that people are really going to start seeing. And just like I said, like you said, Demetrius, when you have a culture change and a confidence change, good things can happen to the program. And I really feel like if Arkansas can get that 5-6 wins, I'm going to say 5 because I think this football team can get 5 wins. But if they get 6 wins, the culture will definitely ramp up. The expectations will ramp up because we all know this program, this state is starving for a winner in football. I mean, they're just aching to go to a football game each and every Saturday and feel like, as a Razorback fan, your program has a chance to win. And I feel like, Arkansas under Sam Pittman will be able to bring all those elements, the physicality, the speed, the coaching ability. I think all that will be in place to have a very successful program under Coach Pittman. But all that said, we got a long way to go. This season has yet to begin. We really, really want back football. I think, but sports in general, Demetrius, I think the country needs some positive, and I think football will be able to bring that. A lot of people need this. I mean, kids go to school in high school just to play football, as well as college kids. I mean, are trying to move on to the professional levels to help their families. I mean, this is something that's needed, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, and not only just for, I guess you would say, morale's sake of just having something to do, having a passion, having something that America needs, but I think even from a financial outlook, Hunter Yurchek mentioned how $70 million of Arkansas's budget, is wrapped around, football happening in a season. So again, I think a lot holds in the rest of football kind of happening, and I think more people want it to happen than not. But again, it has to. We have to think about the longevity and the health. Money can be replaced. A lot of these systems that we have intact that deal with the money can be redesigned, rebuilt. But when you lose a death, you can't get that back. So I think guys are really going to take heed to what's going on. I think you're going to look at the NFL and see what they do in these next couple of weeks, because we all know it's about preseason time, and that Hall of Fame game is getting ready to roll around in early August. So, we're going to know something here in the next 2 to 3 weeks about what the direction of football is going to be this year.
Well, hey, that should wrap up our show today. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And we want to give a thank you to our guest. With that being said, 2022 offensive lineman, defensive lineman, Quayshawn Sapp. He's out of Leesburg, Georgia. Lee County High School, the Big 22 offensive line prospect. He came on and talked Scott Fountain, Sam Pittman, and Razorbacks, plus much, much more. Keep an eye on Big Q going forward. He's 2022, got 2 years, but just keep an eye on him as far as Arkansas is concerned. And then got an update from one of the more and most important defensive prospects on the board for the University of Arkansas, Coach Sam Pittman, Barry Odom, and that defensive staff. Cameron Ball, he's in the Peach State, but he's out of East Point, Georgia. Tri-Cities High School, the big fella just came on and gave us some tidbits and updates as to where he sits. He's got a big decision with all the schools that's vying for this Georgia Peach. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm not being a homer or anything. I really feel like Arkansas will be there in the end due to his relationship with Coach Fountain and Coach Pittman going forward. I'm telling you, things are on the uptick. We're not done yet. We'll be back with much, much more Hall Guys throughout the week. I mean, we got a lot going on. There's some new writers that we're going to have I'll bring you on and bring them on and let them talk about some of the things they're going to be writing about. I'm telling you, OTH, we got a lot going on. But that being said, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. With that being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. Locomotion, they're located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one that we always talk about because they're really, really good. KDK's Chicken. They're down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith, Kathy. Get some of that love. And they tell us, they say it on the building, it's not your mama's. We say it's the best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. And for my producer, Demetrius, to all of you viewers, listeners, thanks for everything you do, the questions that you send in, just all the support. I mean, we wouldn't be who we are without you guys, as you're part of this as well. But that's going to do it for our Monday edition. It's been the Hall Guys on KDSJ 479. You guys have a blessed one, and you know the final words. Let's get it.